Hey, I'm Mark,
And I'm Chris.
and we're the Leftovers.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
I did not agree to that.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Mark.
What's happening?
Are you still
How
on
you
that?
doing?
Are you still on that?
I am. I'm on the What's Happening train. Hey, you ought to get on it.
No, I want to jump off it.
Don't hurt yourself.
What do you want to talk about today? Let me guess. Family.
Family. We are family.
We don't have copyright to that. Do not.
I just made that up.
No, you didn't.
You've heard that before?
Family.
Yes, family. A group of one or more parents and their children living together as a unit.
That's a definition, like a
It
Webster's
is.
dictionary
I have
definition.
6 of them. That's 6 of them, Chris.
I don't want to talk about
That's just the first one.
I don't want to talk about definitions.
That's just the first one. We have to get definition out
No,
there first.
forget.
No, this is good stuff.
No, forget the Webster's.
All the descendants. I have a question for you. All the descendants of a common ancestor. All the descent. Here's how do you? Are you? My question is here. Are you interested in your past family? Does that interest you or no?
To some extent.
A little bit.
A little bit. Not too much.
I did a little thing a few years ago. I was looking for an ancestor of mine, great grandfather, I believe. And so, because the family is all relatively local, they all wound up really close when they died. Pretty much the same county where they were. So there's a website, Find a Grave. And so I looked at, and man, you can sit there and look. That's my ancestor. That's my ancestor. They were married to that one. And I never knew the people, but a little bit of a connection. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool.
All that connection is blood. But okay, I understand you have your list. You want to stay on your list, but I'm going to ruin it for you. Is family just about blood and relation?
Nope.
It's not.
Nope.
When somebody asks you about your family,
Mm-hmm.
who do you talk about?
Me personally, or you talking about in general? If a child is adopted, they're not blood related, but they're
No.
family.
So that's one of the points I kind of wanted to get to today.
Are friends your family? Yes, they are. You know why they're your family? How do you, since you won't let me read my stuff,
That's right.
how do you describe family as blood kin only? Question mark.
Me myself? No, I do not.
Do you describe family as a support system? Question mark.
Do
You.
I describe?
Yes or no?
I'm trying to figure out the question before I throw my
Support
answer.
system. Like if you have
Is
trouble,
my support system my family, or is my family my support system? Mm-hmm. That was two things I was asking.
yes, and then the question. Yes on the first one, question on the second one.
If you are somebody that I can depend on for things that I trust, I feel like I can trust you with my children. You can trust me to take care of your children, like I'm protective over you. Yes, that's my family.
But you have family that you do not trust with your children.
Yeah, I have people. I have people
that's
that I
not
am
a good definition. Then
where I was going at is, yes, there are people that I am related to through blood or whatever that no, I don't trust.
what is whatever? Fill in the blank.
I don't want to fill in the blank.
Blood or whatever.
Blood or by law,
law?
because you have in-laws and stuff like that. There are people,
In-laws and outlaws.
and there are people that I am technically through blood related to or by law related to that no, I don't trust. And I mean, I'm to the point where no, I would not do whatever it is to protect them.
Repeat.
Well, when it comes to my family, people I care about, people that I'm willing to risk either majority of the time, not your life, but your health or well-being, you're willing to risk to either help these people or make sure that they are taken care of. That's family. There's a lot of people that talk about how blood is this, blood that. Blood is like, there are people that I share a blood relation to that I don't have a relationship with of I would help them with anything, or if they did, because you talking about there was an artist I was listening to talk about how it, because of the blood relationship, that whatever his brother did, he would back him up, he would keep him from the cops. I'm just like, there's people in my family that they do something wrong, I ain't doing that for them.
Because they are related to you with blood. And so you didn't have a choice in that matter. You're related to them. They're, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes, family, without you having any say to it whatsoever. They're just family. Familia. See?
And it's just, I guess it's where I've grown up, but I hear a lot of times.
Where's that actually?
We're not talking about that. But
it's
a lot
not
of
under a rock or anything, right?
a lot of the people that, like, as I was growing up, is like, this person's family. We're related to them. They deserve for you to do this for them or that. I was like,
do they though?
No, because just because we share some DNA doesn't mean that
there is a connection. But as far as expecting a second cousin twice removed to be as close to you, even as a coworker, it's not happening. Probably live 3 states away. You never see them. You have a connection because your great aunt Susie and hers are the same person. That connection, as far as them knowing anything about you, is zero.
Yeah. And where that person over there that I have a DNA relationship to means close to nothing. I won't say nothing because everybody
Close
has
to.
value.
Really close.
But
As far as relationships go.
But the people that are in my life that are there to help me through the thick and thin, the hard times, they're there to help us through the hard times, and they're also to celebrate with us in the good times. I can name a few people that when my wife and I lost our first child, they were the first ones by my wife's bedside in the hospital. They were there a lot.
Don't you think that there are also people there for you secretly? Not so much secretly, you just don't hear or see that kind of reaction.
What do you mean by that?
I'm glad you asked. Because I think I just witnessed this myself a few weeks ago. That even though you have those groups of people, maybe it's a couple, maybe it's one person, a friend, and when an issue shows up, boy, they're there, Johnny on the spot. They're the first ones. They'll bring you a hamburger, or, they're there. They'll get you some flowers for your wife or something. And yet you have those others that are kind of in behind the scenes, and they're always there, but they're not as vocal. They're not as obvious, if you will. And yet they are there. Maybe it's behind the scenes and they're praying for you. Maybe it's behind the scenes and they've shared your situation with other folks and said, hey, so-and-so over there is having a, since they call you so-and-so, having a hard time, remember them, if you will. If you want to help, that's fine. But possibly these people get the word out, because one thing I've learned, if you don't share with folks what you're going through, and it's difficult. I'm not one to share my troubles, but if you don't share your troubles, how do you expect people to help?
Well, majority of the people, like myself, that don't share what's going on with us, it's not that we don't want the help, it's the fact that we don't want to put our problems off on other people.
My point.
Because, I mean, we're going to go off on a tangent. I'm not going to talk about that. Okay.
So, do we have to love family members? Question mark.
Which family members?
Yes, there's the question.
Back to our...
Do they just get instant love? Or is that earned?
If we want to be technical about it, we should love everybody.
Yes. Yes.
But you're talking about
But,
that familial love. No. They don't
You think that's an earned love?
To some extent, yeah. Because
If you don't get me 2 hamburgers and a chocolate cake, you're not my friend.
No.
I'm just making sure. Although, chocolate cake,
The people that, it's like I said earlier, the people that are willing to be there and help you through the hard times, and also are there to celebrate it with you during the good times, because there's a lot of people, you hear all the times about these sports celebrities or musical artists that they have their, people say posse, it's the people around them.
People say that.
Yes.
Posse.
I mean, it's the people that are there with them while they're
Do you
making all
have a
this
posse?
money. No.
You don't have a posse? I wasn't sure.
I don't have a group of people that follow me
You
everywhere
look like
I go.
you'd have a posse.
Maybe one day if we ever
You'll-
blow up.
Get a posse?
Maybe if we blow up one day and become very famous, I might have me a posse.
Awesome.
But as of right now,
No posse.
sort of, I got 2 kids. They follow me around everywhere.
Small posse.
Yep. And I do love them.
Yes.
Back to what I was getting to, though, is you have all these rich and famous people that, oh, these are the guys that were here with me when I was at the bottom, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
They made it with me all the way when I was at the top. But as you go back down, are they willing to be with you then, too?
Maybe one.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But that right there, that is one person
your
of your
friend.
family.
Yep.
They're I hate to say it, but like in the Fast and Furious movies, you have
You did say it.
the ride or die. People overuse that all the time, but it's true. It's people that are willing to see you at your best, see you at your usual, but also
Those two are easy.
those are easy. But it's the people that are there with you at your worst.
Yep. And I was just sitting here thinking, at one of my lowest points in my life, I remember a guy, and he was around when this awful time went on, and he's still in my life today. And when things are really, really low, your senses are super heightened. And for those that give you a kind word or, pat on the back, say, hey, I'm there. I'm here for you. Whatever you need. You remember that. It really sticks with you. That, to me, is family. Now, we're talking about blood relatives. What about, and that, you know what that includes. Do you have, like, aunts and uncles that you never see?
Yes.
And they're still, quote unquote, family, but you don't have a relationship with them.
Nope. I mean, there's half my family that I never see, but maybe once or twice a year.
Same. Or never. But I have some, I don't know. I don't even know them.
But I mean, it's not for lack of wanting to have a relationship with them. It's just
Life
Yeah.
is what it is. Yeah. And that's nothing against anybody.
No.
It's nothing against them or yourself. It's just life. That's how it works. You have to make an effort to have a relationship in any scene, whether it's a marriage and all the way down. You have to make an effort to have that relationship with the other person.
Like this relationship between you and I. We have to work on this relationship, otherwise this goes off the rails real quick.
Mm-hmm. Good thing we have notes.
We would be fine even if you didn't have notes.
Now, if we talk about related family members, no relation in the DNA or the blood, as we would say. One would be your spouse, not related by blood.
Well, there's people in Bama that would disagree with that.
Not related by blood, but still your family.
Yep, that's what in-law is.
You chose that spouse to be yours. They chose you to be with them.
All right, here, I'm going to go off on a little tangent.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
You marry your spouse. Her dad is your father-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Mom is a mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a brother or sister, it's a brother or sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
What in-law would that not make your wife your sister-in-law as well?
No, she's not your sister. Or the sister to herself.
But
it's in relation to her.
Her father is your father-in-law,
mm-hmm.
which would then...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you choose your spouse.
Yes.
And then, if you're lucky enough to have children, they don't choose their parents. So, you're blood related from this point forward. But at any time, if this spouse decides, I don't want to be your family no more, guess what they get to do? Walk off. Walk off.
Well, okay, but here's another thing, though. You have these people that are born to these mothers and fathers that want nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
What do? They put them up for adoption, or in terrible situations, horrible things happen.
The children didn't want.
The parents don't want.
Okay.
The parents don't want the children.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's the big. We're going off on another subject here, but we're going to come back. But that's the thing about the whole abortion thing is people don't want to become parents, so they abort it. Mm-hmm. Well, there's people that are against abortion that have the kids,
but don't want the children.
Excuse me. They have the kids, don't want them, so they put them up for adoption,
and then
or they put them in horrible situations. And so, I mean, would you consider it? This is hypothetical because you know your parents, they raised you and everything, but if you were a child that your parents I won't even say put you up for adoption because that is bad. I mean, it's not terrible depending on the situation.
It happens.
But you have the people that I've heard stories, and after our watching of Sound of Freedom, I have heard stories where parents have sold their children as babies into the sex slavery and all that. And it's just like, how could you still consider the person that sold you as a family member? Yes, they're the person that gave birth to you or made it to where you were able to be.
There is a connection there, regardless of how awful
there is
that situation is.
There's a blood connection, yes. I'll give you that. But a familial connection, I don't think so.
I don't know.
I mean, if that person feels
that situation, yeah.
But what I'm saying,
maybe you get a time in your life to where you're looking back and wondering, some things. Maybe it's not a connection like family, but a connection of where did I come from?
Yes. I mean, they would be greater people than I am if they were to forgive their parents for doing that to them. Because I don't know for sure, but me being who I am, if that was to have happened, I don't think I would be able to forgive.
But like you say, until you're in that situation.
Correct.
Yeah,
It's a horrible situation.
Yeah. If a lot of times we look at blood related family members, and man, regardless what they do, how they act, where they wind up, man, you still love them. You still want the best for them. And they may have stole your car, but you're still like, you know what? You're still my family. Yet you let some stranger steal your car and watch what happens. There's a connection you have with family members that you just and should have, but you don't have with everybody. You cut them a lot more slack.
But at the same time, does it not hurt more if you were talking about somebody steals your car? Mm-hmm. Does it not hurt more if that family member that you have love for went and stole your car?
Sure.
But that would hurt even more.
You would cut them slack, though.
Would you, though?
Yeah. Be mad at them, be upset with them, but you still love them. The love's still there, and you know, I believe that some people just don't have that kind of love for anybody, possibly even themselves, because of the way, you know, first you got to love yourself before you can love anybody else. I believe that. And if you can't, it's going to be very. You can act like you love folks. You can go around and, you know, shaking hands and kissing babies, shaking babies and kissing hands. One of those. And you can act like everything's cool and well, you love it on everybody, but man, actions are louder than words.
Yeah, I mean, you have these. Won't call them sociopathic people that I'd say they're sociopathic and narcissistic people that are out for themselves, that they act like they love these people. They act.
I knew somebody like that.
You knew or no? Mm-hmm. That didn't answer my question. I gave you two possible answers, and you went with Which one is it?
You figure it out.
No, you tell me. I asked the question. I expect one of the two answers back to me.
I forgot the question.
You said that I said something about sociopathic, narcissistic people. You said
acting like
something about,
but they really don't.
Well, sociopathic people. There's a difference between psychopath and sociopath. Psychopath is more of the crazy hearing stuff. No. More of the psychopathic people that have something going on in their head.
You see the movie Psycho?
Yes.
Okay.
But then, well, sociopathic is more of the American Psycho movie. Did you ever see that?
Nope. I don't like those kind of movies.
You don't like horror movies?
No.
I love horror movies.
No. Strangely enough, Chris, my movies have to be like real-to-life movies. Things that could actually happen.
There are horror movies.
Things that I've seen actually happen.
You watch the first couple Saw movies. Those are things that could actually happen.
Yeah, but, man, it's just not in my life. It's just not things that... I don't think putting that kind of stuff in...
Do you want to play a game? Which was actually never said in the movie.
Don't know what that is. But I don't think putting that kind of stuff in your head is healthy.
We're going back to what I was saying. Sure. Sociopathic people are... That's where we're getting at, is American Psycho, is Christian Bale he's a guy, he's a businessman that...
I thought he was an actor.
Shut up. The character that he plays is a businessman in New York City who is trying to make himself... Okay, scrap everything I just said. Sociopathic people are people that can't really feel empathy. Mm-hmm. They can't feel empathy or sympathy for others.
So they won't yawn when someone else in the room yawns. They'll keep the straight face. No yawn.
They might act like it because that's what That's what a lot of these people do is they try to act like they're not the way they are.
Yes, and to come full circle,
No, I'm still
I
talking.
knew somebody just like that.
New or no?
Yes,
See, there again, the exact same question, and I get
the exact same answer.
and why won't you tell me?
Well, I just answered it. I knew them, but yes, I still know them.
So you know them. You don't just knew them. You know
No,
them.
I knew them, but I still know them.
You still know them. Why do you have to be so difficult?
That's not difficult.
That is difficult.
Family love.
Why
I
did
have a
we get
question
off on
about
socio and
I
psychopath?
have no idea. Family love. Grounds you provide. And it's something you're working on right now. You don't even know it. Or you may know it. Grounds you provide as a framework for future relationships for your kids. Think about you're showing your children, whether you mean it or not, love for your family. Like your children see how you love your siblings, their aunt and uncle, your mom and dad, their grandparents,
My spouse.
your spouse, which they're going to love her. You can just hang up on showing them anything on that.
No.
They're going to love her. Yeah.
What-
Now,
no.
if you treated your spouse awful and they picked up on that, they're going to go one or two ways, I'm guessing, and they're going to hate you for it. Or they're going to pick up how to be mean and hateful to their spouse and carry that on.
That's what I'm getting at is the way that you act towards certain people in your family shows your children, like with you and your spouse. They don't see everything, thank God, but they do.
Boy, one time when I was about 8,
We're not getting into that. We show them the important parts of how to act, like when they have their own spouse.
and
we're supposed to show-
subconsciously or not, you're still showing them.
Yes, but also the way to act with siblings, the way to act with parents. You're mimicking. You should be mimicking the way that they should act.
Yeah.
But even if it's not the way they should act, they're seeing it.
Oh, yeah.
They're putting it in their subconscious. Man, you're making this hard for me.
It's not on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, you're teaching them every day, whether you realize it or not. And I see things that I've done in the past come out of my children. Like, oh, that's me. And these are very subconscious things. Like if you have a great uncle that you can't stand, and I know that's you do not, but I'm just making this up. And you can't stand the great Uncle Joe. Is that a good name? I'm not interrupting.
You're good.
I'm not hurting anybody on this one, am I? So you've got a great Uncle Joe, and you just hate great Uncle Joe. He's mean to my great aunt Susie, and I never liked that guy. So if you and your spouse talk about great Uncle Joe over and over through the years, guess what your kids are going to pick up on? They're not going to like great Uncle Joe, whether they meet him or not, but they're not going to like him.
Nope.
Yep. I've seen a little bit of that happen. I'm sure every family has that.
It's not only that person that they're gonna put all this on, but it's their own uncle or great uncle. The way that you treat that person, if they have an uncle or whatever.
That is their uncle. It's their great Uncle Joe.
Correct. Mm-hmm. But like,
okay.
The way that you treat your great uncle is mimicking to them how they can treat not only that great uncle, but their uncle.
Cousins.
Yeah.
Chris, do you consider friends as family?
Yes.
Some,
actually, scratch that.
But
because they're not just friends, they're family.
They are.
Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind.
Lilo and Stitch.
Yes. It's a terrible Stitch.
Well, I thought it was really good. We don't have copyrights on that, Chris. Don't do that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have done that. I guess I have to cut that out later. Wait, you'll have to cut it out later.
This is episode 21. This is yours.
I thought you were the editor.
Friends. So, I don't think, for the most part, that we give friends the leeway we give family. For the most part. Unless that friend has stayed around you your whole life, been there through the good and the bad, and
See, they don't have to be there for your whole life, though.
Friend, yeah, no, they don't. But I'm just using this as an example. But that way you can see good and the bad and the ugly, and you know, when they get out of prison, you were there for them, whatever. But that person, friend, that has stayed through it all, they've moved to a new level. They're no longer quote unquote friends. Now they are family.
The family.
And so that I read in my stat sheet over here.
Oh, no.
Hang on. That maybe that was something else.
Maybe if I didn't throw us off topic, you might have.
I know. That through your life, 2,000 people study shows we make 29 real friends in our life.
What's a real friend?
I didn't do the study. But out of those 29 real friends, only 6 or so last or will be considered family. And that may be stretching it at 6 or so. I don't think I have 6. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to ask you this. How many friends do you have?
Now, I believe that I have quite a few.
Okay. When I say a friend, what do
you talking about this family type friend, or you just acquaintances?
I don't want to go with acquaintance, but somebody that's not necessarily family, but they're way more than just an acquaintance. How many people do you have?
Those?
Yeah.
There's quite a few.
There's quite a few? Okay, how many of...
Well, not 100.
Like 5 or 6?
No. Way more. 20, 30. Better.
Okay. How many of those and others could possibly enter into that family mix?
I guess 6 is pretty close. It'd be in the neighborhood of a third or maybe a little less.
Am I an acquaintance?
No, you're not an acquaintance. Yeah, I mean, yes, but you're
Yes, I
next level acquaintance.
Next level acquaintance.
Next level acquaintance. But I thought that was interesting. 2,000 people studied. But we were asked almost the same question when I was in the 7th grade. Our PE teacher, we were in class that day, and asked the question, how many good friends do you have? Good friends do you have? And I didn't quite understand the question. I was number 2 in line in the seating chart. The person in front of me said something like 30. So I was like, well, he must have said friends. So I'm like 25. You know, feeling good for just a couple of seconds. And then the person behind me said, none. And I was like, did I misunderstand the question? And so the next one was like, 1. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I answered that correctly. But that sticks out in my mind to this very day. How many good friends, almost in the family setting, do you have? Some people, they'll go their whole life and they will not have that person in their life that's that good of a friend that you can consider them part of the family. They'll never have one of those. Friends, a lot of people go their whole life, Chris, and they don't have that one, much less 2 or 3 or 6, as the study showed.
Well, I was talking, not talking.
You were talking. I just heard you talking. You were
I
talking.
watched a video the other day of a woman who was talking with her husband about their friends and everything. And they're like, yeah, we love these people. And he's like, yeah. And she asked her husband, was like, how many of these people do you think you would still be friends with if it wasn't for me being around?
Can I answer that?
No, because
This is something I always wondered. And I went through a divorce, and I found out something. None of them. Zero.
no, she wasn't talking about like if they were to get a divorce. She was saying like if she didn't come around and they didn't meet, how many friends would this guy have?
How many would he have?
Yeah. And I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as the husband of, if it wasn't for my wife, the people that I consider to be our close friends and somewhat family, I wouldn't be.
So if
friends
your
with anyone.
wife was not around, you're saying those friends that you consider almost family, you would not be friend. You would not see them.
Probably.
They're not family then.
No. That's not.
They're not in that category.
They are.
They can't be.
They can be.
They might be with your wife, but not you. Apparently, I mean, I'm being serious.
No. What I'm saying though is what I'm getting to the point of is just like that husband. I am not a people person. I am not an extrovert.
Me neither. I know it's hard for you to believe.
It is with the way you talk.
It's energy drinks.
Can't say nothing. I had my big one too.
The Coke. Yeah, I was thinking
The
about
glass
the
bottle Coke that
Coke
had glass.
broke
Yeah.
off.
No, but there are people out there like me that if it was not for their significant other, they would be lonely.
But let me put this in a way that I don't really care who hears it. I was going to make it really nice, but
No.
who cares? Let's just talk. Okay, so I was had a spouse for lots of years, right? And we had mutual friends, and we'd done things together, and friends, right? Well, went through a divorce, long divorce, one of the longest ones I've ever heard of. And through that whole spell, you know how many of those
Stuck around.
good friends
You
that
thought were good friends.
even
but they
ever came around and checked on me? Zero.
But that's not the situation I was talking about.
Yeah, I get it, but you do. I mean, at times you think of these people as family.
Yeah.
Nope. And even that family deal, once that divorce split up thing starts,
Yeah.
you don't see them. I mean, they loved you while you were around, but you let something happen, and you're not even considered a human being anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
That's rough.
That is
That's
rough. And it's crazy, but
You really learn somebody when the tough times show up, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
When the tough times show up, well, you better just stay who you are. Don't just act like that in front of somebody's face. And then once they're gone, like, well, I'm glad that dude's gone. I ain't like him no way, you know?
there's TV shows have done it for years where character or somebody will be with this girl. She's so annoying. They break up. All the friends are like, "Oh, I hated her. She was so terrible." Blah blah.
Yeah.
And then the next day or the day after, they're back with the
back
girl, and she hears about all the awful things they said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened on Friends whenever Chandler's girlfriend.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I haven't seen Friends in forever. But no, there's the difference in what you and I were talking about is
You're still married.
I don't have to go through the situation right
I didn't
now
know where that was going.
but what I was talking about is if it was not for my wife, I probably wouldn't have
But I think that's the same thing, though.
But it's not.
I'm seeing it different.
You are, and you're seeing it wrong. And I'll let you.
Hey, that's all they tell me.
That's all I tell you.
That's all they tell me. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Chris, I want to send this in a little different direction. Extended family. Extended family. Extended family.
Extended family.
Extended family. I didn't really understand this one, personally. I didn't understand what that meant. Extended family. And with the definitions and all, it was grandmother, great-grandmother, grandfather, great-grandfather, aunts, uncles, great of each side, cousins.
Yeah, that's it.
But the way they explained it was them living with you. And I don't know that that's right, but...
Not anymore. That used
I
to
imagine that went... Yeah, that's the way I took it years ago. Yeah, I get that.
But now your extended family is just your uncles, your grandpa. They don't have to live with you.
They don't have to be under the same roof. Although, if they did, I think kids today would be a little different. I don't think they would be as... I would say wild. Although, that's a good word. I could imagine if I lived in the same house as my mother and father and raising my kids would turn out a little different. I believe that. The strictness that comes from a grandparent is not the same as mom and dad.
No.
Although when you start jumping them lines, mom and dad's trying to take care of the kid, they take offense to the grandparents or uncles or whoever.
I was about to say, or aunts or
jump in
uncles and
there.
stuff like that.
That causes issues. But I get the kid would learn.
You're talking my situation right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, with me and my wife living.
I had no idea I was getting into that.
Oh, I mean,
I was doing all hypothetical stuff.
No, I'll give you real life situations of being in the same house with my parents.
True, you've got extended family. Yeah.
Because of the economy and everything, living with my parents, and then my sister and her husband and her little ones living under the same roof. Of my sister has a way she wants to parent her kids, and it's different from the way me and my wife parent.
Sure.
And so it kind of things happen where she tries to parent my kid the way she parents hers.
Sure. I mean, Chris, even whenever me and my wife was raising our children, my mom and dad, they raised me and my brother a little different than I was raising my children. So when we're at their place, they would have an idea of what we needed to be doing, and I didn't agree with it. And so that caused a little bit of a riff. It wasn't terrible, but it's just not the same. You know, and my mom would tell me today, well, if you'd have done this and you'd have done that, you know, that'd have turned out different. Very possible. You're probably right. But at the end of the day, we have to be responsible. Mom and dad have to be responsible for children. Not grandparents, not aunts and uncles. Mom and dad have to be responsible for their raising. Now, should your children listen to adults? Yeah, they should. But when mom and dad's over here saying, hey, you ain't got to listen to Uncle JoJo over there. It's a little nuts anyway. Well, when the kids hear that, what are they going to do? They're not going to listen.
Well, what I'm getting at is...
I didn't say that was I'm just saying,
yeah,
you know, on top of everything else.
But it also gets to the point where, with family, having that aunt or uncle try to discipline your child.
Does that ever turn out good? No. I don't know of one time that's ever worked out in anybody's favor.
I cannot tell you.
I've never seen that work out.
I have. Oh, me.
Yeah, that's not their place. It's not their place.
No. And
you just look at the mom and dad and say, you going to take care of this? Because I'm...
No. Well, it gets to the point where somebody wants to... I shouldn't say these things.
I don't.
You know what? I'm going to say it anyway.
Don't say it, Chris. Just say I did. I warned you. I wouldn't do it.
It's like...
I'm editing. No, you are. That's right.
No, you're the editor now. We made that decision. You're the editor.
Upgrade.
You're editor.
I've got to upgrade first.
I'm audio guy. You're editor.
Nah, it don't count.
It does count.
I'm going to be audio guy and editor.
No, you're not.
I am. Think about it.
I don't want to think about it because I've already done all the audio.
But when I upgrade,
this is a whole yes, and I'll still have to do that stuff on your computer where I still do the
no, I
audio.
don't have to do my own.
We've got way off topic.
I know. I tried to get you away from saying what you were going to say.
But I want to say
Blended
because I want to get
families.
it.
Do you
I
know
want
what
to
a-
get it out of my head.
Do you know what a blended family is, Chris?
It's where
Brrr.
somebody
Chewbacca.
had a kid. They either lost their spouse or they divorced their spouse, and then they marry somebody else that already has a kid from another relationship.
And children together. Although you've had children over here, she's had children over there.
Well,
and
you don't necessarily
together.
have to have the children
Because the
together.
step families are different than a blended family. Blended family is bringing two sets of children together and having children together as well, blending the two together. So, do
I've
you
never seen it
know?
like that.
Huh?
I've never seen it like that.
Okay, you don't have to. You're just thinking of the movie Blended. That's what you-
Wait, there's a movie called Blended.
You never
It's
seen
not
it?
about a blender.
Oh, you've seen it. Hush.
No, I honestly I haven't.
Really?
Yeah.
Adam Sandler? Not Adam Sandler, is it?
Is it an Adam Sandler or Drew Barrymore movie?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
the newest one that they have that no, I have not seen
It's
it.
not. It's like 20 years old.
No, it's not.
It's not new.
It's their newest one.
Oh, good night. All right, so
The last movie I saw that had Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore in it was 50 First Dates.
51st Dates, yeah. So here's something I was studying on, and I told you earlier, you didn't know that it was where this was going, but so when you blend a family together, you've got step this and step that and hold this and hold that.
Hole.
Do you know the percentage of women that are molested with their stepfather?
Oh, it's a significant amount.
17%.
Yeah, I mean,
1 of 6 stepchildren, girls is what this study was on, was molested by a stepfather. Now,
the study is though that if you put a non-blood related spouse in the household with another child, they are more likely to be molested or raped or something like that. Where with girls and a stepfather, it is significantly more than say a stepmom and a son.
so why in the world would a guy, one, even have this on his mind, and two, now that this is your wife's daughter, and why? What? I can't get it through my mind.
Power and control.
Nuts and nuts.
Oh yeah. It. So I mean, you already. I'm not gonna say that. You would think that a lot of these people have narcissistic tendencies because they're only out to gratify themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about them. Yeah, there's no doubt.
And you hear all the time people make the joke of, "Oh, I got the older model. I want the newer model now."
Oh, Lord.
And
I would hope that would just be a joke. Not serious.
you would hope,
Yeah.
but I mean, you've got
A lot of jokes are real life.
the
laughter.
statistics right there.
Yeah. I've got a worse statistic. Statistic. That is 33% of children who are abused wind up abusers.
Yep.
That's amazing. I do not understand how that works. I don't want to.
Well, how that so?
Is it kind of wanting to get back at your abuser? I'm guessing.
Sort of. I hate for these things to happen, so it's like I try to do research so that I can try to find the signs if I see it happening, so that I can try to stop it, because I don't want to be that person that is so naive that, oh, the signs were right there in front of everybody. How could anybody not see it? And I was just like, so I've gotten to the point is like certain things, like a kid being traumatized through whatever that is, I want to be able to see those signs of the trauma happening. So I don't read, but I listen to audiobooks and I see documentaries on people.
Some people say listening to a book is reading a book. I don't agree to that.
You don't have to agree to be wrong. But from what I've heard, I guess you could say, is these people don't get the help that they need to process it. And so the abused then they don't know any better because they didn't get the help. And so they think that, okay, this is just a normal thing. No, I'm not saying at any point that it's right.
No, I didn't think you were.
But these people are, I mean, that's how they grew up is, oh, this person went and diddled me, so I guess that I'm supposed to go do it to...
I don't want you to say that again. I don't want you to ever say that again.
I'll try not to.
Just don't use that.
Diddle? You don't like the word diddle? Diddle, diddle, diddle. All right, I'm done.
I was thinking of a coworker of ours, Nick Diddle. So, when it comes to family, Chris, the last one I have, family, is church.
A church family.
Do you think that's a thing, or is it just a phrase we use as frequent churchgoers?
You and I, yes.
As I sent you a message the other night, I didn't realize you guys stayed in church so long on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Didn't know that about you.
Yep.
The things you learn. So do you think that's just a phrase we use, or you think it's legit?
Me, myself, I see it as legit, but I don't see... I'm trying to think of how to say this. There is a family in the church. Now, everybody that says that they're a part of it, I don't see as actually being a part of that family, because you get the people that, oh, we go to church there. They say they go to church there. They might go once in 2 or 3 months. Oh, this is my church family. It's like, are you really a part of the family if you don't?
Maybe they got issues going on there, Chris. Let's don't be judgmental.
If they've got church, they need to find the help. And they can find the help through the church family.
Shame won't let you do a lot of things.
Correct. But at the same time, if you're not willing...
Don't be judgmental, Chris.
That's all I am, is judgmental. Leave me alone.
No. The reason I ask about the church family thing is because I asked myself the question. For years, I've heard the statement, church family. And so I went through a couple of hard times in my life through going through the same church. It's not super small. It's not super big. Medium, I guess. 300-400 people. Medium. And
I would consider that not huge, but still big.
At times, it's been closer to 400. Through
COVID,
about 100. Pretty small. But
no, I consider that medium.
Yep.
Under 100 small.
I've never been to that. But anyway, the reason I say is because I went through some hard times, and I didn't really. And I'm going to explain this. It's a little harder to explain than you think, but I really never received the love that you would receive from family if you're going through a hard time. I never got that. Not the phone calls, the visits, the chicken sandwich. You see what I'm saying? I never really received what I thought. Now, when you're going through a hard time, you're not thinking about chicken sandwiches.
Okay. Here's where I'm going to come at.
Like I tell you, this is a lot longer than what it sounds like.
You keep saying, I didn't receive. I didn't receive. Was it ever offered? That's the question.
No.
So it's not the fact that you didn't receive it. It's the fact that it wasn't offered.
No, none of it.
Because
now, did I get a sporadic, hey, I'm here for you?
Yeah, you get that from everyone.
Sure. Got that. Now, a couple of those I really believed.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, it's nothing. But here's my thing. How much did I say? Or should I have had to? I guess is the question. I don't put my stuff out there on the table. Feel sorry for me because of this. Feel sorry for me because of that. I don't do that. And I don't get anything in return. So I don't feel sorry for myself. But as a church, quote unquote, family, small town, I live in a small town, you would think everybody knows what I'm going through at some point in time. If it goes on for 3 or 4 years, people know.
Not necessarily, though.
3 years? Come on. Let's be honest.
But, I mean, you also have to think about it.
A lot of people know.
That, I mean, there are people that went to church with us that had no idea anything was going on.
Yeah.
Because nothing was said.
I get it. I do. I totally get it.
People, I mean, this is part of the things I've learned through having an extrovert spouse. If you don't say...
What'd you call her?
Extrovert.
I'm just kidding.
If you don't say something that's going on, people don't know what's going on.
That's right. And even if you say what's going on, sometimes let's just give them some space.
Yeah.
And they feel like they're doing the right thing. And maybe are. Maybe. I don't want somebody at my house every night. Hey, I got you a chicken sandwich here. Now, what's your problems? You know, I don't want that. I'd rather just go home, easy into my easy chair, do my nightly work, go to bed. And so I don't know what I'm complaining about except for the word church family.
You feel like it should have been one way. You didn't want it.
No, I didn't want it, but I wanted it. I wanted it offered, I guess.
Yes, you wanted it.
Like I told you, I had about 2 or 3 guys that I've went to church with for years. And when those guys told me, hey, if you need anything, let me know. I'm there. I believe that. That's all that needed to be said. All that needed to be said. They didn't have to show up with some chili or a cake. Although, been nice. I would not have turned it away. So when hard times arrive, Chris, and you know hard times, you've been through them. I think generally we just have to be appreciative of what we do have.
Yeah.
And the family that we have. And, you know, I could look and say, man, my mom come from a pretty good sized family. It wasn't gigantic. My father, gigantic family. I've never known all my cousins. But do I really have time for them? No. I don't have time to go visit cousins.
You would if you would quit just going home and sitting in your chair.
Good point. I like it. But when we consider our blood family, non-blood, I guess, in-laws and friends and church family, if we have a handful of people that we truly love and truly love us, hey, it's worth $1 million.
Yeah.
We just need to be very appreciative of what we do have. I try to be.
But you got to be willing to open up with them.
You got to be able to give some as well, yeah.
Because even the people that you're blood related to, if you're not able to open up to them, are they? I mean, is that really a family member to you?
A lot of times, though, and I know you'd agree with this, you don't want to bother them.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I've
You're
had
getting ready to watch a football game, and you're like, hey, you know what's went on in my life the last 4 years? I mean, they don't want to hear that. That's what I'm thinking. But
well, I mean, that's where I'm blessed to have my wife. I'm a very introverted person. I don't want to put my problems off on other people.
Do you put them off on your wife?
No, because majority of the problems we share together. But the thing about it is, though,
you should. You should.
So both of my children here in the past couple months have had medical issues show up to us, And if it was up to me, it would just be something we kept to ourselves, and no one else would know about it, short of maybe the grandparents. But my wife, being who she is, both times brought it up in front of our church family, so that, I mean, they can't actually do anything, but
They can pray for you.
they can pray.
Wow. Anybody pray for me? Hey, thank you. Appreciate
And,
it.
but that's the thing, though. If it was up to me, wouldn't even have that.
Nobody would know. Yeah.
Because
I'm
nobody-
kind of the same way.
So
Kind of.
yeah, but then you're mad. I was
What?
I was gonna joke, and then I was
What?
like, maybe that would be a little too far.
What? Better not. Knuckle time.
Yeah, I know. I don't want any knuckle time.
Well, we have come to that part of the show where we
Can I guess-
appreciate
can I-
everybody watching.
Can I guess the word today?
No.
Man, is it
You can
family?
guess it. Familia.
I don't think people are gonna know how to spell familia.
Good.
The Spanish word.
That's it's really,
So I
Chopping
think
it
that people
down.
should text the word family.
or FAM.
No, I'm stuck with family. FAMILY.
You could do that. Hey, you could text the word FAMILY to 615-330-3644 and say, give us,
Well, first they should text you the word,
family.
and then if they have
Since you're
any,
doing this by what you say, go ahead.
well, seeing as how we give them the word to send to
Family.
that number,
Family.
and if they would like to give us a topic for another video,
Future.
future
Audio.
audio. Why I say video?
Hey, premonitions. Premonitions, Chris.
For a future episode,
Yes. Give us some ideas. We're running out of them.
and Mark will
Try to do
try
something.
to say something about you texting him,
I will.
even though I text him all the time.
He
and
does. He doesn't count.
Apparently,
Not eligible.
that's not in the fine line.
Yes, it is. You didn't read it all. You tried to listen to it, not read it. It says Chris is not available.
So that's different than not eligible.
Both. Available or eligible
I'm not available or an eligible bachelor,
at this time.
or
Or a bachelor, as far as that
I was gonna
goes.
say hopefully ever.
Or ever. I like that better.
But we would also like to thank you for listening.
Hey,
if you've made it this far.
share this thing. Put this thing out there on social media. We're not very good at that.
No, we're terrible at
We
it.
want
So
other
if we can
people to
get
do
other
it for
people to
us.
help us,
Yeah. The leftovers, Chris and Mark.
share it with friends, family,
Get that deal
family.
out there. And family. We love family. We love family. Chris, send us off.
We'll try to do this again next time.
We will.
Bye.
Peace.
Deuces.